Alright guys, before we get into the video, I got some big news. I got my EVSwap shop up and running. So check out my website, EVSwapconversions.com, and check out the web store to get yourself a t-shirt or some stickers or something else. Let's get into the video. Hello and welcome back to EVSwap. I'm Jimmy and I'm a car enthusiast. I love all cars, but here at EVSwap we take cars that are gas and make them electric, like Dave's Frontier here. So Dave's trucks, the project's just about wrapping up. He's going to be taking it home for good now, and hopefully it never has to come back here except for if we upgrade it. But I wanted to kind of reflect on the build and some of the things I've learned about the conversion, doing this conversion, that I'll take forward, some things that I won't, and overall just my thoughts about the build. So first of all, I'm really pleased, I'm really proud of how this Frontier conversion turned out. I think it's a really clean installation. It looks almost factory. A lot of people have been telling me that. It just fits so nicely in there. I'm really impressed with how fast the vehicle is and how efficient it is. Those two kind of go hand in hand. It's really, it could go 65 miles an hour down the highway, and I look over and I'm just pulling 10, 15 kilowatts or something, hardly any energy, and we're just scooting down the road. So I love the way it drives. That just brings it back to the vehicle that you choose for an EV conversion. The end result, you got to picture in your mind what you want the end result to be. And when it comes to an electric vehicle, I think choosing a nice, lightweight, efficient vehicle matters a lot. I'm really happy with how practical this pickup truck is. This is the type of thing that I wish Nissan would sell, that you could go and buy one of these brand new, because a little tiny pickup like this, you can park it anywhere. You can get through any parking lot. You can weave through traffic. It's just so easy to drive, not like a big full-size truck. It's just really nimble, and it's sprightly, it accelerates, it brakes really well, it turns good, and it's got a full-size pickup truck bed on there. This truck, you can put a ton of gravel in the bed, you can load it up with lumber. It's just as much capability as a full-size truck in a little package. So I think the end result is just a really cool, practical truck. And I'm a little bit jealous, I gotta admit, I'm a little bit jealous of Dave because this truck is so cool. I'm really excited to see how it works out for him. It should just be, you know, the type of car that just runs and runs and runs and runs and runs, and there should be no maintenance practically. Of course, brakes wear out, tires wear out, possibly suspension, depending on how many miles Dave drives. But the overall EV components, the motor is maintenance free, so that thing will go until the bearings inside give out, which be decades down the road. The manual transmission can probably go 150,000 miles before it needs the fluid changed in it. The coolant, I mean, it's got some coolant in there, maybe change that every 100,000 miles or so, every 6 years, something like that. But really it's practically maintenance free now, which is it's so cool to have a maintenance free car. So bringing it back to the vehicle, choosing a small vehicle like this is always going to be more efficient. You're always going to get more range out of the same battery capacity. So for instance, my Land Cruiser gets really pitiful range. You know, if I'm really driving it carefully and gingerly and I don't go higher than 50 miles an hour, maybe I can go 70, 80 miles, but practically, not really. But that Land Cruiser has nearly the same battery as this Frontier, and we were able to do 130 miles on it, all highway driving, which is just great. So smaller vehicle is going to get more range, all things being equal. It's also going to be faster, accelerate quicker, things like that. So that's a thing to keep in mind. Of course, with the smaller vehicle, you have trouble packaging, like for instance the battery. But really it just brings it back to, you can convert any car to electric. It really just depends on your personal preference. What do you want to use the car for? Your end goals, what's your end goal with the vehicle? So as far as the conversion goes, mechanically, the motor and the drivetrain was done in like 2 weeks. It was so fast to get the drivetrain in, and then the months and months and months of the rest of the project was mostly building the battery, designing the battery box in CAD, you know, lots of measuring of the cells, the modules, figuring out how to package it, which configuration is going to utilize the space the best, you know, trial and error, doing CAD in the computer and also cardboard aided design. that took a lot of time. So one thing that I hope that the EV conversion industry will start to develop is products for leaf-based conversion. So right now you can buy like an amp-revolt box for Tesla modules. It'd be so cool if you could buy a pre-built battery box that was already, engineered and CNC'd and designed to fit the Nissan Leaf modules. So that's something I want to give a call to action to any companies out there looking for products to develop for EV conversion community. Leaf components for conversions would be super helpful. So that was by far the biggest thing, is definitely the battery build. It's also the most dangerous, so I just took my time, went really slowly. If I had a bunch of bolts to tighten on the cells, I did them one by one, went back and did them all again, and it takes time, but you got to get those details right, and it pays off in the end. Other than that, we had to put the interior back together. We kind of pulled the interior out. I wanted to put the Resolve EV where the original engine ECU was, and I think that might have been a mistake. I think instead of trying to integrate fully the EV into the existing vehicle, maybe what I'll do now is just add on to the existing vehicle with my all-new custom wiring harness. I was able to save some wiring, save some fuses and things like that by using some of the wiring in the Frontier, but it ends up taking a lot of time reading the wiring diagrams and doing research, which maybe I didn't need to do. So that's another thing that maybe I'll reconsider in the future, but I'm really pleased at how this one turned out. So the Leaf is definitely still my favorite option for a budget EV conversion. The price is just too good to pass up with the performance that we get. So remember, we bought that Nissan Leaf for about $7,000. So we've got a vehicle here with 150 horsepower, 230 foot-pounds of torque, 40 kilowatt hour battery. It's got a level 2 charger. We can add CHAdeMO fast charger to it. It's got a 2,000 watt DC to DC converter built in, high voltage interlock built in, fuses, current sensors, all of the safety features that you would want in a production EV, we get in this conversion using the Leaf components. And it all comes down to that Resolve EV VCU. So it's a no-brainer. If you're gonna build an EV on your own, I think that using a Nissan Leaf is the way to go. Still do. So then last thing, I made a little vehicle notebook for Dave so he can take it home, kind of a little user manual and explanation of the build. So he can keep it with him as he goes forward. It's got the original specs from the donor vehicle, so the Nissan Leaf. It explains to him, all the components that we got out of the Leaf. I have the information on the pickup truck here, so the Frontier, the VIN number, things like that. I've got some information from the auction, so he knows the battery. This is a picture of that battery label that shows it was a remanufactured battery in June of last year, so the battery is brand new. Here's just some pictures of the auction, how I picked it up, just for his records, and then of course it's got the Resolve EV owner's manual. I've got a section for all the wiring diagrams in the vehicle. Right now, I just have the Resolve instructions, but I'm going to create a custom wiring diagram to go with the truck, so anybody in the future who's working on it will know what's going on. And any kind of manuals that came with the other products, so the speed hut gauge and the speedometer correction unit, all that type of stuff I have in the notebook as well. So this will go home with Dave, so he'll have a good reference for his truck and be able to keep it with the vehicle for the rest of the lifetime of the car. So thanks again for watching another episode here at EVSwap, and I can't wait to get started in the next project. I am looking for the next customer build. I have had a lot of people reaching out about that, so please continue to email me at jimmy@evswapconversions.com. The price tag does scare a lot of people off. This truck here, it costs about $25,000 to do it over again. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you here next time on EVSwap. Thanks again for watching another episode. You can see we've got the FJ40 up on the lift, so be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode where we dive into the FJ and we get started on it. Check out my EVSwap shop on EVSwapconversions.com. Right now I've got some cool stuff like t-shirts, mugs, stickers, hats, and I've even got Land Cruiser FJ40 motor mounts if you're interested in something like that. I plan to add more stuff in the future, EV related, EV conversion related stuff. So keep checking that web store, and we'll see you here next week. Thanks for watching.